The evening sky was painted in vibrant hues of orange and purple, casting long shadows over the bustling city streets. Outside the towering downtown arena, thousands of Donald Trump supporters gathered in a sea of red MAGA hats and American flags. Vendors lined the sidewalks, shouting over the noise as they sold T-shirts, banners, and buttons with slogans like, "Promises made, promises kept, and 4 more years." The air buzzed with energy, a palpable excitement that seemed to ripple through the crowd. Every few moments, chants of "USA, USA," or "Trump, Trump, Trump," echoed through the streets, carried by the wind like a chorus of unity. Families laughed together, couples held hands, and strangers shared conversations, all bound by a shared anticipation for the night ahead. Inside the arena, the atmosphere was even more electrifying. The massive space was packed wall to wall with cheering supporters, their voices blending into a deafening roar that reverberated off the high ceilings. Rows of seats stretched to the rafters, with standing room-only sections crammed with people waving homemade signs. Some read, "Keep America Great," while others declared, "Draining the Swamp." Overhead, enormous screens projected live footage of the crowd, capturing every beaming face, every chant, and every raised fist. 2 giant American flags flanked the stage, which was bathed in bright light, drawing every eye to the podium at its center. The energy was contagious, an unrelenting wave of enthusiasm that filled every corner of the arena. Backstage, Donald Trump adjusted his signature red tie in front of a mirror, his movements deliberate and confident. Around him, aides buzzed with purpose, flipping through notes and finalizing details for the evening. Despite their frantic energy, Trump exuded calm. For him, rallies were never about sticking to a script. They were about feeling the pulse of the room, connecting with the audience, and delivering a performance they would never forget. This was his domain, and he thrived in it. "How's the crowd looking?" Trump asked, his tone casual yet commanding. "Packed to capacity, sir," one of his aides replied, smiling. "They're fired up and ready for you." Trump smirked, nodding as he adjusted the cuffs of his jacket. "Good, let's give them something to talk about." When Trump stepped out onto the stage, the noise hit him like a wave. The crowd erupted into thunderous applause, their cheers blending into chants of 4 more years and USA, USA. Trump raised his hand in a wave, his signature smile lighting up his face as he approached the podium. The rhythmic stomping of feet and the roar of voices made the entire arena feel alive, vibrating with an energy that seemed to grow with every passing second. Thank you, Trump began, his voice booming through the speakers. "What a crowd! What a beautiful, amazing crowd! You are incredible, just incredible." He paused, letting the applause wash over him before continuing. "This right here, this is what America's all about. Passion, energy, pride in our great country. You are the heart and soul of this nation." The crowd responded with an even louder roar, their cheers echoing off the walls like a tidal wave of support. Trump smiled, soaking in the adoration before diving into his speech. He spoke with his usual blend of humor and boldness, outlining the achievements of his administration. He touted the booming economy, record-breaking job creation, and his plans to strengthen America's position on the global stage. Every statement was met with thunderous applause and cheers, the crowd hanging on his every word. But not everyone in the audience was there to cheer. Toward the middle of the arena, seated amidst the sea of red hats and waving flags, was Adam, a 23-year-old college graduate with a very different purpose. Unlike those around him, Adam wasn't clapping or chanting. Instead, he sat with a homemade sign in his lap that read, "You can't fool us." His jaw was clenched and his eyes were locked on the stage. He wasn't there to celebrate, he was there to challenge. Adam's journey to this moment had been shaped by frustration and disillusionment. Growing up in a small town, he had watched his family struggle as factories shut down and jobs disappeared. His father, a factory worker, had been laid off years ago, and his mother worked exhausting double shifts as a nurse just to keep their family afloat. Adam had gone to college with the hope of building a better future, but now burdened by crushing student debt and juggling 2 part-time jobs, he felt stuck in the same cycle his parents had endured. To him, Trump's claims of a booming economy felt like an insult, a narrative that ignored the struggles of families like his. As Trump continued to speak, praising the strength of the economy and boasting about record-low unemployment rates, Adam's frustration began to boil over. Every cheer from the crowd felt like a dismissal of his family's pain. Every applause like a rejection of the hardships they had endured. His heart pounded in his chest as he tightened his grip on his sign. Then, unable to contain himself any longer, he stood up and shouted, "You're lying!" The words sliced through the noise like a blade, cutting through the cheers and applause. For a moment, the arena fell silent, thousands of heads snapping toward Adam in unison. Then almost immediately, the silence gave way to a wave of boos and angry shouts. "Get him out of here!" someone yelled, while others glared at him with disdain. Security guards began moving quickly toward Adam, their expressions stern as they approached. But before they could reach him, Trump raised his hand. "Wait," he said, his voice calm but commanding. The guards froze in their tracks and the crowd quieted, though an uneasy tension hung in the air. Trump stepped slightly away from the podium, his gaze sweeping the audience until it landed on Adam. "What's your name, kid?" Trump asked, his tone steady but curious. Adam hesitated, his throat dry and his palms sweating. "It's Adam," he finally said, his voice trembling but clear enough to carry across the arena. "Well, Adam," Trump said, leaning slightly on the podium, "you've got a lot of energy. I like that. So tell me, what exactly am I lying about?" The murmurs in the crowd grew louder, some supporters craning their necks to get a better look at Adam. For a moment, Adam felt the weight of thousands of eyes bearing down on him, but he forced himself to steady his voice. "You don't care about people like us," he shouted, his voice rising with emotion. "You talk about how great the economy is, but my dad lost his job, my mom works double shifts, and I'm drowning in student debt. You don't know what it's like to struggle." The boos began to rise again, louder this time, as some in the crowd shouted for Adam to sit down or leave. Yet Trump raised his hand once more, commanding silence. His expression remained calm, almost thoughtful, as he leaned slightly on the podium, studying Adam. For a moment, the tension in the room was almost unbearable, every pair of eyes darting between the two. "All right, Adam," Trump said finally, his tone steady but tinged with curiosity. "I get it. You're frustrated. You're angry. And you're not alone. There are millions of people in this country who feel the same way. But let me tell you something. Yelling about it won't change anything. Action will." The room was so quiet that even the hum of the air conditioning seemed loud. Adam's hands tightened around his sign as he listened, unsure of what to expect. Trump continued, his voice now carrying a note of conviction. "You think I don't understand the struggle? Let me tell you something, Adam. When I started out, I wasn't the man you see standing here today. Sure, I had help. My father gave me a boost. No one denies that. But do you think that made my life easy? I've faced failures, big ones. I've been billions of dollars in debt. I've had the media rip me apart. I've had businesses collapse. But you know what I didn't do?" He paused, letting the question hang in the air before answering it himself. "I didn't give up. I didn't sit back and blame the world for my problems. I fought harder. I learned from my mistakes. And I built something bigger, better, and stronger." The crowd erupted into applause, their earlier irritation toward Adam momentarily forgotten. Adam, however, remained silent, his mind racing. He wasn't sure if he believed Trump, but there was something about the way he spoke that struck a chord. It wasn't just bluster, it felt personal. "And Adam," Trump said, his voice softening, "I'm not saying you don't have a right to be angry. You do. Life isn't fair. It's tough, and it's not going to get easier on its own. But here's the thing. You've got to keep fighting. You've got to find a way to make things better, not just for yourself, but for the people around you. And that's what I'm trying to do. I'm not here for the billionaires. They don't need my help. I'm here for people like you, people who've been forgotten, left behind." The crowd roared again, but Adam barely noticed. His frustration had been replaced by something else. Confusion, maybe even curiosity. He hadn't expected this. He had expected to be dismissed, mocked, maybe even thrown out. But instead, Trump was engaging with him, challenging him in a way that felt strangely sincere. "After this rally," Trump said, pointing toward Adam, "stick around. Let's talk. Tell me what you think needs to change. You've got guts, Adam, and I respect that." The applause swelled to a deafening roar, and Adam slowly sank back into his seat, his heart pounding. He felt a mix of emotions, anger, doubt, and something else he couldn't quite name. For the rest of the rally, he sat in silence, replaying Trump's words in his mind. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories that inspire and challenge us to grow. What would you have done if you were in his shoes? Let us know in the comments below.